We just picked up a 2018 Honda Odyssey from the auction. We bought it as is, red light, which means there's no guarantee or warranty. The auction's telling us the odometer is correct and that it's not a salvage title or something wrong with the title. But other than that, we're pretty much on our own. When you buy those, you generally get a little better deal on the car, but you kind of anticipate there may be something wrong with it. This one had 110,000 miles on it. As soon as we got in it, check engine light was on. So the report that comes with the vehicles, we went over that. There was no mention of a check engine light, any other codes, just showed drivable, good condition. So we took this vehicle and trailered it home just because we didn't know what that code was on there for. And they do not let you have code readers in the auction there. So certain auctions maybe are different, but the ones that we do, they don't allow you to have a code reader in there. They probably don't want people clearing codes and making things look like they're not emission ready. If they are, not totally sure on their reasoning, but it really makes you think they're trying to rip you off when they won't allow you to even check to see if there's any pending codes or whether it is emission ready. So on the Carfax, it does show that there is a recall for the fuel pump. That's something that Honda has on a lot of these vehicles, but the problem is they're not willing to fix it right now unless it totally breaks on you. They just don't have the parts readily available to repair this many. It's so many vehicles that are affected. So until it breaks, you're basically just kind of hoping that it doesn't if you're going on a trip or anything. So Honda will fix those once those parts are available, but right now it's really just on a, if it's broken and doesn't work, they'll try to get that fixed for you, but otherwise you're going to have to wait. So we're going to take this over to the dealership, see if we can get this diagnosed, and then patch you in there and let you know what we see.
Much later.
All right, here's this 2018 Honda Odyssey we picked up. It looks like the service department gave us a big old list of things that needed to be done on it. It's not always a good deal when we pick something up from the auction. So this one we thought came in at a good price. They told us there was no check engine light, and it turns out as soon as we picked it up, the check engine light came on. So the dealership that had put it in the auction cleared the engine code and then made it somebody else's problem. So that's just one of those things we have to be cautious of. But overall, this is in really good condition. But I'll kind of go through what's going on with the codes. It looks like it's a fuel injector code. Said it was emission related. These actually have not a recall, but a warranty extension on them. So Honda is actually extending these out to like 150,000 miles or 10 years on the warranty. But the problem is this one doesn't have the code that's listed. So Honda's denying the coverage on it. So I have to go and drive it more until the code that they will cover comes on, which just seems ridiculous, but that's just how these companies work. They're not going to pay anything that they don't have to. So we're going to be driving this around a little more, trying to get those fuel injectors replaced. Turns out the timing belt had not been done on it. This has about 110,000 miles on it, so it's 10,000 miles overdue, so I'm going to pay to have that done as well. We try to make sure these vehicles are ready to go for whoever buys them so they don't end up in a bad situation with a broke down vehicle. So we'll go through and I'll show you a little more on the condition of this and give you some more information on these codes and what we're seeing here.
3 hours later.
All right, I've got that van back here. Oddly enough, the engine light was off when I drove it back, but it did kick back on once I got here. So I just have this sheet here that they gave me to tell me everything that needs to be done on it. Looks like $4,900 worth of repairs. But if you've ever taken your car to the dealership, you know that there's a little bit of fluff in here. I did run the Carfax on this van. It's a one owner, no accident. Transmission was serviced about 14,000 miles ago. And I think they're due about every 30,000. So they've got a transmission flush recommended in here, air filter, spark plugs, the timing belt package, which I will have that done, four-wheel alignment, and then the fuel injectors. So between all those things, almost $5,000. They wanted to get this van back into tip-top shape, but they did miss something. It looks like the rotors are warped. I'm very familiar with those Honda vans. That's pretty common. Gives you that kind of shudder when braking, but that needs to be repaired on that as well. So before we sell it, we'll do those rotors. But that's a pretty long list there from Honda. But we'll see if we can get that code to come back on and be able to get that warranted on those fuel injectors. All right, here's the van. One thing I thought was unique is that it does have a remote start on the fob here. So that's something most Hondas don't have, but this one does. So that's kind of cool, unique feature there. So maybe 2018 they started making this a little more standard. I've had a lot of these vans personally, but that's one thing my wife's always kind of wanted was that remote start. So kind of go through, show you condition on this van here real quick. A quick walk around, show you condition on this. It's in really good shape. A little bit of that sun fading on the headlights, kind of some scratches here and there, but overall really good condition. It does have all those safety features like that collision avoidance, the lane keep, adaptive cruise control, blind spot, all that stuff, which is awesome. One thing I did notice on here too, we did have an aftermarket hitch, which I'm not a huge fan of, but they're good for like your bike racks and things like that. But wiring right in there, and I kind of stuffed it back inside. It was hanging clear out, so I guess you can just shut it through the trunk and put some lights on. But don't necessarily love vehicles that aren't really meant for towing trailers, but hopefully it was a light one. So, but yeah, overall really good condition, nice van. Just got to get these things worked out and it's going to be great for someone. The van's a little bit dirty, but that's to be expected when you're hauling kids around. But overall, it's actually pretty clean considering that. I mean, I just see your candy wrappers there kind of spread throughout. No weird odors, which is great. This one does not have the DVD player, which is unfortunate, but most of them just have iPads and tablets now. It does have the seats in the center here that will slide in. So if you take that center one out, you can slide those in and kind of reconfigure them, which is kind of cool. But yeah, overall here, leather's in great shape. It does have Apple CarPlay, which was changed in these years. They started doing that. So it's actually a pretty good system here. So we'll start this up, kind of show you what code you'll see just coming up on the dash. You're going to see that emission system. That's going to show up on there. And it's going to say there's a problem. You can scan the codes, and there's variable different codes it can be. But this one we did have diagnosed as the injector. So it's not giving that code that Honda will pay to repair it yet, but that will happen with driving it further. So I'd imagine we'll see that shortly after we drive it and take it back in and get that fixed. Get this into somebody's hands and make a great vehicle for them. All right, so as you can see, it's in really good condition. It's a nice van. It just needs a little bit of work. It's been taken care of though. Some dealers might just put this on the lot and sell it with that timing belt the way it is, save them some money, put that problem on somebody else, but that's not the way that we do business. So try to be very honest with what we do and how we represent ourselves. So we'll get this injectors fixed, we'll get the timing belt and the rest of the things done on this, and it's going to be ready to go for a long time for somebody. So if you see an emissions code like that and you're in one of these newer vehicles on these Hondas, you're probably looking at something similar. Could be the injectors. Thank goodness this wasn't a repo because the body condition is great. So that's not something we have to worry about. Even the tires are great. So, you know, that's what we like to see. So if you could help us out, we'd appreciate it. If you like and subscribe, it's not going to cost you anything to subscribe. It's just like liking it on Facebook. But if you do that, give us a thumbs up and give us a comment. That helps us out. We're a new channel. We're trying to build this. We'd love to be able to do more fun things at the auction, pick up some more fun vehicles. And by you liking and subscribing, that's how we can do that. So we appreciate you. Thank you for all your help and hope you enjoyed the video.